Hey guys, welcome to our review of Joker, Folie Deux, right? Folie à Deux. And that's Joker 2, basically. And it was the sequel to the follow-up, basically, of a $1 billion generating film, The Joker, which I enjoyed. I liked it very much. And I liked Joaquin Phoenix's performance. Was fantastic, very fascinating kind of story where, I don't know, a villain does something villainous and that's it. You know, there's not much. I mean, kind of gets away with a lot of it. Or, you know, the way the film ends. So I honestly did not expect a sequel, you know, because it seemed like a self-contained story, little side thing. Of course, when something makes $1 billion at the box office, you can bet that at least somebody at WB is like, hey, can you make me another $1 billion, please? Right? And so I was a little worried already about a Joker sequel. Are they going to put Batman in it? What are they going to do? We already have Robert Pattinson and all this other stuff going on at the same time. But I said, all right, we'll embrace it. It's an Elseworld story. As development went along, I heard that Lady Gaga was going to be highly involved, and later on I learned it was going to be a musical. Now, for those of you who are just joining us here at the Angry Joe Show, I hate musicals. I do not like anything with interpretive dance. I find it very cringy, and it makes me upset. So, let's actually start with the boys. What did the boys think of Joker Folie à Deux?
Oh, man, I did not like this. This was not good, and I like musicals, but this...
Yeah, both you like musicals.
Yeah, I like musicals.
Yeah, like you could tell a very good, compelling story with music and everything to drive the plot along and just make it good. But, like, honestly, the whole singing and stuff did not belong in this. Mm-hmm. Even without it, it was not a good movie. The trial was supposed to be pretty good. I didn't like the trial. Not a lot happened. There wasn't very much action. The whole chemistry between Harley and Joker felt off. This honestly didn't feel like a Joker movie. This was, I don't know what this was. It just felt like a passion project. He's like, hey, I'm going to make an artsy film. I guess he wanted to do something like that, but it was terrible. I felt like Arthur at the end when he's like, no more singing.
Please stop.
Please, just talk.
He's shushing her, yeah. I was like, yes,
no spoilers. But yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
But I just want to make clear, no spoilers.
Yeah, he's like, hey, stop singing. Let's just talk. But like even then, like Joker was not Joker. Like in the beginning, this whole plot was just boring. I was bored throughout this whole thing. It sucked. I was like, maybe some of these musical numbers is like, yeah, obviously Lady has a great voice. That's what she does. She's a great singer, but it just didn't belong in this.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I love musicals. I think they can add a sense of like there's like whimsy and levity and brighten things up or, just do interesting things. And this is interesting, but not all things that are interesting are good. And I think this is one of them. I don't think that the background story was very good. I don't think that the music added a whole lot. And there's some great like standards in there. I mean, there's some classic, American songs in there that they're just singing, but it's awkward. And I don't know what he was going for. I don't know if he was forced to do this. They're like, hey, make a Joker movie. He's like, hey, I got a long weekend. And he's like, no, make it this weekend or figure it out. Do it in 2 days. I don't know what happened, but it doesn't feel like they spent a considerable amount of time writing this thing out, or at least coming up with an interesting story that I myself would enjoy. I
don't know who this is for.
I have no idea who this is for. Because, I mean, look, the last one, and I know I got in trouble for the last time, I gave the last one a 7. And I gave it a 7 because, honestly, I felt that he had taken the character and the story from 2 previous Scorsese movies and just kind of touched them up. And they kind of, he didn't necessarily take Scorsese's name off the homework, which was kind of the problem. But I still liked the movie. It was amazingly acted, and it was still interesting. And it was an interesting take on Joker and Gotham, which I didn't appreciate. This is none of that. No. There's no Scorsese movie that he's based this thing on. I don't even think Arthur is that interesting as a character as it was before because we're just kind of retreading the same thing. And I was expecting to see something new layers, new anything. It was just I don't know what the fuck we watched. Like, it is
Wow.
so bizarre.
Wow.
And it's like, I didn't enjoy my time,
Nope.
and it took forever.
Yes.
So that's what I
Yes.
thought of the movie.
I agree. I was like, kept looking at my watch, like, oh my God, can we wrap this up?
Wow, boys. So we had an excellent trailer that made it look interesting, made it look like, oh man, Harley's coming, gonna crack his sort of, get him out of his shell and come on out and you know, we're gonna fucking go crazy on the town or something together. This ain't that movie. Well, I mean, I guess a little bit, but this is, let's see, if I read here, Phoenix and Phillips thought about a possible follow-up in the form of a Broadway theater show. They did not consider making a conventional sequel depicting Arthur's development into Batman's nemesis by turning him into the Clown Prince Climb or by putting him in charge of a criminal syndicate. Okay.
Could not work.
I knew that was going to be the case. Okay? That's probably what your average Joe or your no, not average Joe, your mass audience wanted. Maybe people, that's something that they can understand a little better. Here, Joe touched on it. I think he even used the word. This is an art film. This is artsy fartsy, and I know you guys don't like artsy fartsy.
I like
Depends.
artsy fartsy,
Yes,
just
but
not this. There's good artsy fartsy,
Yeah,
and then
there's
there's
bad
this.
Slow
artsy
burns.
fartsy and
That's
slow
the
burns. This is more that, which is more my style. But when you combine it with singing and interpretive dance, I can't. I was like, at first, I was like, you know, this is not as bad as, you know, I've been hearing as I'm in it. And I forget the exact moment where I got punched out, but it was just song after song after song. And I was like, I'm into it. I see how it can kind of fit. But as it went on and as we were continuing to sing, I was like, please stop fucking singing. Like, let's get to the actual drama. Let's get to the actual story.
Where was it?
But it never comes. The plot is so paper thin. It feels as if it's a episode in an HBO Joker series with 8 episodes, and this is one. And if that was the case, then hey, you know, maybe that can work. They're kind of, you know, stringing it along, and you know, we're doing this, but it seemed to lack purpose. And I guess this is exactly what you get. I mean, it almost felt like Todd Phillips was. They were like, "Hey, do a sequel." He's like, "Nah, man, I don't know if I, you know, I don't know if I do that." It made $1 billion, made a sequel. Here's a lot of money. All right, fuck you guys. I'm gonna make this, but I'm gonna do, you know, I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want.
He's just trolling, wrote on the shitter.
You feel a little bit of trolling in here. However, I will say that, you know, because I like the artsy fartsy a little more, I like films that challenge you. I like films that are unconventional. As a cinema, as an art, is supposed to push the boundaries. It's supposed to experiment. So I get from an artist standpoint that we want to try something different in a sequel. We don't want to just give you the same stuff over and over. So I can pay a little bit of lip service and respect in that angle. And that's what I think this is. But even giving it all of these breaks, so to speak, I still don't think it really works. And I don't think it has a satisfying payoff unless you, you know, I guess it does have its own moral and everything. So, but I just don't think it works. And I think it will test the patience of a lot of your mass audience goers. Basically, everybody that gave you $1 billion, this is not the film for them. This is a film for 10% of that audience. And I'm kind of in the 10%. So I kind of appreciated it. Some parts, and I think it's really the performances from Joaquin Phoenix when he's allowed to do his thing. He's fascinating to watch. I'm fully immersed in this world of Gotham and this alternate Joker thing. I even think Lady Gaga did a little bit better than I thought that she would, but kind of falls apart a little bit towards the end based upon what's written for them and what happens in the third act. So, yeah. So I think, unfortunately, because I can't come out here and say I liked it more than the first film. Hell no. I don't even think it's as good as the first film. And so that's what we're left with. And I think Todd Phillips said, hey, this is my last one. I'm done. I'm done with the DC stuff. And it seems like he's fucking done with the DC stuff. Avoiding spoilers and everything. I forgot I was going to come out and say, you want to begin the review, I was going to say, you want to know how I got these scars? And then we were going to go for the rest of the review. For those of you who have seen it, you can probably kind of maybe get what I'm saying. I don't know. I'll explain in the spoilers. But so that kind of sums up the film. You want to know how I got these scars? And then I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to burst out into a song and then just start singing some popular older song. And I'm not doing
the
that.
Saints go marching.
Interpretive dance.
Kick a lot too. You had to make sure you get kick.
Yeah. All right. Well, okay. So mostly the film deals with the aftermath of the first film, Arthur. It even opened, this is one thing I didn't expect. It opened with a cartoon, okay? I liked the cartoon. I understood what the cartoon was referencing. It's a split personality. It's Joker trying to run from his shadow. Then the shadow basically kind of takes over for the Joker, goes on to the TV, is soaking up the spotlight. And then when there's consequences for the actions, he basically takes Arthur and puts him back into the Joker outfit and leaves him to be the one that suffers the beatdown from the cops, arrested. And that's what the film is. They're making this case. Well, Joker needs to be let off because
that wasn't him.
It wasn't him. There's Arthur and then there's Joker. I love courtroom dramas. I like anything in the courtroom. So I was like, okay, I'm probably gonna like this. But it's just a little unbelievable, essentially what they allow in the courtroom. Especially, I was like, I'm not going to allow these things in the courtroom, and then they allow the things in the courtroom. So that's a little bit, but I'm willing to ride with the punches. So as long as we get to a satisfying conclusion, and I don't know, I see what they're going for, and I see what they're saying, but it is still unsatisfying for me.
Yes,
it's like, what was the point, kind of thing. And you don't want to be saying, what is the point when you're watching a sequel? That is the last thing that you should be saying. He did not give the audience what he wanted. They wanted to do what they wanted to do with this Broadway idea and explore it, and only a few amount of people are going to appreciate that. Now, whether that's you and whether you find, hey, I appreciated they did something outside the box. They did this kind of mix of a musical / serious film. Hey, that's it. But I just don't think it works. All the musical bits I would have preferred them to lean into and to make them actual musical bits, or the real life drama stuff and go that way. Or I would have been okay with cutting about half the songs, and I think it would have worked better. At least for me, it would have worked better and made me a little less annoyed. But it still would have had ultimately the same plot, which is wholly unsatisfying and feels kind of pointless in the end. All right, so without beating around the bush too much, let's go into spoilers after we give the film a final rating. So let's go ahead and give our final verdicts for Joker Folie. Adieu.
For this, the best things I liked are obviously Joaquin Phoenix did a great job, Lady did a good job with the stuff they were presented. But overall, I was hoping, like, since we already got Joker, Arthur was done in the first one. Like, we go full on Joker on this one, but we get more Arthur, and I honestly don't care for Arthur in this one. And for me, Harley Quinn didn't work for me here. Like, I didn't like her character, the way they presented her. Like, I know it's not going to be like the original
actual Harley Quinn from the cartoons, and then
they give like subtle hints, and he's like, oh, well, she does this, and she's not really, like, just stuff like that. But I just didn't feel the connection between them. They're supposed to be inseparable or whatever. I just didn't buy it. And like you said, the paper thin plot, the courtroom drama, non-existent. That was boring me as well. It's like that was like the main focal point, and I was bored during the court scenes. And the musicals, it's like, oh no, there's too many of them. I was thinking, it's like, Joe's gonna hate this musical. This is long and drawn out, and even I don't like it. So I was already punched out, and I was like,
Now
man,
you know what I feel like when I watch musicals, Joe.
there's
It
better
just kept
ones.
going and going, and another song, and I'm like, please shut your mouth. And by the end of the film, he does say, so shut up.
Yeah,
Stop singing.
I felt like that as well. So, like, honestly, this was not for me. It didn't feel like a Joker movie. It wasn't a good musical, so I didn't have a good time.
So it wasn't a good psychological thriller, and
No.
it wasn't a good musical.
No.
So there you have it. When you mix it together, I honestly think those elements make them each side worse. If you push it too much,
Yeah.
initially it was supporting it, and I was like, I see where you got this idea. It could work.
It could have been, but like, yeah, Todd didn't do a good job with this one.
Okay.
This one honestly just felt like a sequel, and then the sequels are pretty bad.
Okay.
I'm torn between 3 or 4.
Ooh,
Because I would say it is below average
Let's
for sure.
hear
But
from-
like after just thinking about it, like I might have to I give it a
written
4
by
for
the
now, but I
same
might
person,
yeah,
Scott
a 4,
Silver.
but it might
Todd
drag it
Phillips
down
and Scott
later.
Silver. Both films. Okay.
So what'd you go with?
4,
4.
but maybe in spoilers though.
Yeah, talk it out a little
Yeah,
bit.
because it's like 3 or 4. It's not a 5. It's nothing beyond that.
Yeah, I think they kind of rehash a lot of the things they did in the first movie. And Arthur's an interesting character. I think he's based on Bickle, but he's still an interesting character. And I think in the first one it works so well because it's new, and you're trying to see what he's willing to do. And there are parts of the movie where he's specifically in prison where it's like, hey, this could actually work. I almost wish he had stolen one from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and done that, where it's like Arthur going to a psych ward and we get to see him only in the psych ward. But then they threw in this courtroom thing and it did nothing. It is bad courtroom drama. They did some TV interviews that did nothing. I don't know what they were going for here. They tried to do so many things. I think they did none of them well. And so it's like, and I love courtroom dramas. I love musicals. I love character studies. And this is, I don't think
And
there's
psychological thrillers.
and I don't think any of that works here. And they're every now and then you see a scene, you're like, oh, that could work. It didn't because of the way that who was involved. Everyone acted their asses off. I have no complaints there.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix is amazing, and it's always a pleasure watching him do what he does. The dude commits. I mean, he weighs 105 pounds. Like, it's crazy what he does to his
Great
body.
act.
But it's horrible because this is what we're getting from it, and I actually just feel bad because it's like, bro, you put all this work in, and this is the product. This is what's written for you. I think this too is below average. Like, I don't think any of the pieces worked for me. I get what you're going for. I get that you were trying to subvert expectations, but just because you try something new, just because something is interesting, doesn't always mean it's good interesting. And I think this is when it's kind of bad interesting. It's not even interesting enough where we're going to be talking about it. Like, what's that movie that you hate, you despise, that he just watched recently?
No, don't fucking talk about that. I'm not even bringing it up.
But-
Don't you say its
Ghost
name,
of Mars.
Joe. Don't watch it.
no,
It's
no,
fucking
no.
A24 Climax.
Climax.
Yeah, Climax.
No,
but
the
that's
thing sucks. It's far worse. This is a masterpiece.
yeah.
I'd rather watch this 17 times than that.
It's-
But
Yeah,
that's what I'm
totally.
talking about. That elicits an emotional response out
For
of you.
sure. Oh.
This in 3 months
that's
from now.
unfair, Alex.
3 months from now, someone's be like, "Hey, what'd you think of Joker 2?" And I'm like, I don't
forgot
care
about it,
because
yeah.
this movie doesn't matter. Nothing in this movie matters at all.
Nope.
It doesn't even get that kind of response out for you when we bring up Climax. So I don't think this has a purpose. Not Ghost of Mars. It is John Carpenter's 17th best movie.
Because this is the dancing. He hates the dancing. It's non-stop dancing. I'm surprised he even watched it.
It's not stop dancing in
Climax?
this one.
Climax.
Yeah,
Climax.
Climax.
Yeah.
That's
So I'm
put
surprised
to-
you even finished
It's a
it.
1 out of 10. Fuck that film.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, I'm also gonna go with him. Right now, I'm thinking 3 to 4. I'm gonna go with
Yeah.
4. As we talk about it, I reserve the right to drop it to a 3. But right now, I'm thinking 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not good. Not good place to be.
I think it's only the artsy fartsy person in me, which is that likes it a little bit more than you guys. I see what they were going for. They're trying to push the boundaries of cinema, challenge the audience, do something different. Ultimately, the message. I don't want to spoil anything because it ties directly into the ending. I just don't think a lot of people are gonna like it. Me myself, I didn't like it. But I think it's because the musicals and the interpretive dance and all this stuff that I hate already. But I think there's great performances in it. I see the story, but I just end up thinking, damn, this is a shame. This is a shame because this particular Joker was special and interesting and unique and different. And then this is where we go with it. And I said, I get it, but that's certainly a choice. That's a choice.
I get it. I don't want it.
Joe, you get what you fucking deserve. And that's the other thing I was thinking about beginning the review with. You get what you fucking deserve.
Ouch. Ouch.
You make a fucking sequel. And get this, Joe. The first film, $55 million budget, made $1 billion. This film, $190 to $200 million budget. You get what you fucking deserve,
190?
WB. Because there's no way this film is going to make $1 billion.
No.
So they're going to lose. I don't know if they're going to lose their ass. They won't make as much money as that one, so you get what you fucking
You think
deserve.
it's going to make $400 million in the box office?
I don't know, man. I don't even feel like it's going to make $400
say
million.
no.
I think it might end up a flop, but I don't think it'll lose them money. I think just because it, you get $1 billion, maybe a fourth of that. So, but even then, if the budget is $190 million and if it's not including marketing, I think this movie loses money. Yeah, let's not worry about marketing no more. Whenever we get these numbers, we'll just focus on that because we just have to have that.
Well, narrowed. I mean, the reason I bring it up is because we see marketing for this stuff constantly. I constantly see advertisements for it, so they're spending money to get people in.
That's probably with marketing included. Yeah, I'll have to look at the.
I don't think this comes anywhere close to 350, 400 million.
My final verdict is 5 out of 10. I think it gets half of its shit right. I see half of the elements here, but so much of it they got wrong. So they overdid it with the songs. The songs could have supported the story and been fine if they didn't go over, where it's almost like they feel like, well, we're a musical, so we have to have 3 more numbers past where we were already comfortable with it. So that hurts the movie. And then the story and plot essentially hurt the rest of it, and having a more like interesting point in the end. So we'll get into spoilers now. But unfortunately, it looks like for us, we didn't enjoy Joker quite as much as all the hype, because that trailer made it look like another fucking banger, another 9 out of 10, maybe 8 out of 10, because it's like, it's a sequel ultimately. It's real hard to nail sequels to make them better than the original, because it's like, whoa, I've never seen anything like this before. And here, it's like, whoa, I've never seen anything like this before, and I don't want to see it again. I don't want to see this again. I would watch Joker again. Here's the big thing. I should have said this earlier. Joker 1 has this building fucking tension, as fascinating performances, and it builds to a ultimate conclusion that shocks you, that makes you think, that's a huge, satisfying conclusion. Whether you like it or not, it's a satisfying conclusion. This film is flat. There's no other way I can put it. It's flat the whole way through. No tension is building. And then the final climax that happens is like, oh.
What a climax.
It was something. It was something that I thought in the first film. I've always thought this. It's always been in the back of my mind. Well, what if? And it finally happened, and they used it as the resolution of their film. So in a small little compartment of my brain, I'm like, hey, man, that takes balls. That's interesting.
How did you feel about Harley and Joker?
Fuck all. I don't think the chemistry was there.
Yes.
I didn't buy it. I was like, what's the fucking point? And I don't like this interpretation of Harley.
That's why I was like,
and I'm like, what does this really mean? What are you trying to say here is what I'm trying to get at.
Towards the end, it was like, kind of.
Fuck. That's what I want to say, and I'm trying to avoid spoilers.
I know,
I would
I know.
say other things, but
Yeah.
okay. So that's our feelings there, and now we'll go into the spoiler section. So. See the film yourself if you feel like, and come back and
If you're
and here
intrigued
with
for
us.
not a good way, we're just telling you now. Just either wait for streaming, but
Yeah, I
if
would
you-
watch. It's gonna go to HBO Max sometime pretty soon. I'd watch it there.
I don't. Okay. All right. So. Okay, welcome to the spoiler section. So ultimately, I think what I'll take away from the film, when I say, okay, let's go back to what I said. You want to know how I got these scars? And this is because this whole film, the dregs of society and the people who are being crushed under Gotham, and your criminal underground and your outcasts, whatever. They use Joker, or they want Joker as their hero.
Yeah.
They put him up on a pedestal. And this film deals with Arthur Fleck unable to meet that. Ultimately, I am not the Joker. Ultimately, I had one moment of glory and intrigue, essentially, and glorification of violence and fighting back. But ultimately, I'm still just a fucking coward and, sad, pathetic individual who has been damaged from his upbringing. Mm-hmm. And there's some fucked up shit that is revealed in the film in terms of what his mother, thought of him, which I don't think the original film touches on. We knew his mother was a piece of shit. We knew that.
Yeah, we knew that she
we didn't
chained
know
him.
the reason why she called him happy and why he was doing the laugh and all that. I don't think we got that.
Yeah, they chained him to the radiator and abused him for days at a time.
Yeah.
And
That's not what I'm talking about. Is that basically she had given him hope through one thing, said something nice to him, right, to keep him going. His life is shit, keep him going. Well, they took that away from him in this film. How did they do that, Joe? You remember?
Was it his mom that told him?
His mom
he's like,
told
"You're not
his
funny."
neighbor.
that one neighbor that he got obsessed with.
Yeah,
what
like,
she
he's not
really thought of her
him.
son.
Yeah,
What did she really think of her son? Alex?
he's not funny. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Not funny. He's a piece of shit. He has the weird fucking laugh. I hate his fucking laugh. And he thinks he's funny. He's not funny. And all because one day when he was small and I was trying to get him to stop crying, I told him, you're going to bring joy to the world. You're going to make everybody laugh. It's going to be great. Boy, that'll fuck you up. Okay. So does Joker go crazy and embrace his Joker and fucking turn into the Joker and fucking be this villain and hero for everybody? No. He pusses out.
He's still, when it comes down
He's
to
still
it.
a good guy.
Well, he's a simpleton. He's a low IQ, emotionally damaged person that doesn't have the means to do any of those things.
Or beat a Batman.
Paul. He's the foil to Paul Blart, not Batman.
He was never going to beat a Batman.
Well,
We're so far from that.
yeah. If we're fucking pulling receipts, people were telling us it's like, no, this guy could absolutely be Joker, and I was like, no, in no
When
way
they
is
go dig
this
those out
dude
in the
Joker.
first
told us
comment.
that.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it's like, no, this guy is. He's literally
Because we tried to say some of this in our first review, and I know Alex got fucking raked over the coals for it.
It's my fault for seeing. Well, you too for
did.
seeing other movies that this dude stole from. So.
Yeah, and you think that because he stole from other movies, he actually has no talent, and this was...
He's a hack.
He's a hack, and I just... Me, personally, I think he went for something, and it failed. And he needed a little help, because it could have worked with a better third act. So,
And a
what
second
are we
act.
trying to dance around? Ultimately, Arthur gets fucking killed at the end. And get what you fucking deserve as he shoots, what's the character's name?
De Niro.
De Niro's character.
Yeah.
He has that turned on him.
It absolutely
That's
happens.
playing with fire that he shouldn't have been playing with.
The problem is you see this dude like 2 times the entire fucking movie.
Yes.
You don't even know the character's name. You just happen to see him in the
That's
hallway.
the point.
Yeah, but the problem is
That's the point.
It's
And I like
completely
that.
it's unrelated to the entire fucking movie.
It isn't. It isn't, because all of this fervor is being built, and he is supposed to represent and give an outlet to this city and this undertone here. And when they figure out he's a fucking fraud, there's going to be some elements that are like, no, you don't understand. He's still good. The Joker, that's why we have a big old fucking explosion, and these two use a car bomb to release him. And don't worry, we'll create a criminal empire. There was a small like hint, maybe we can go somewhere with this.
Yeah.
That wasn't the case.
But I think
there are equally other people out there that are unhinged,
Yes.
that are actually dangerous. The point was Arthur Fleck was never dangerous.
I think that point absolutely works if he gets shanked in the middle of the street, not from just a random cellmate that he has.
He was dangerous because you have a gun. You're obviously dangerous,
Well, I
but
think-
not true dangerous.
I think as well, like it would have been better because he
Which
was
is
hanging out with the
unpredictable.
kid that like idolized him.
Yeah.
That, if it would have been from
him or
it
a
would have
character
been
we
better.
knew. Rather, it just felt like a random act of
he's
prison
like, oh, I
violence
like this guy
versus something
because I-
important.
I don't think I need a character that we've spent time with and that's connected to Arthur for that to be good. I like that it's at any moment there are
random
real
person.
dangerous fucking criminals that will snap on a fucking dime.
But that's just
because that's why
prison.
they're in there because they're
Yeah.
psychologically, unhinged, and that's not truly what Arthur is, which was Arthur's point. It's like Well, I guess the question is, did he have an actual split or not?
No.
No.
Okay. Yeah, he was still, by the end, he reclaimed himself as Arthur. So I guess you can say that the good guy wins in the end, even though, so it's like, and you think it was this set up by the guards? Because they're like, hey, there's somebody here for you. I don't think there was anybody for Arthur showing up wanting to talk to him.
Yeah.
Like, oh, is it Harley? Oh, did she change her mind or something? No. It's just so he can get him into the hallway and this crazy guy can fucking stab him.
Yeah, so I mean that's why it doesn't feel like random. It just feels like more like random prison violence. He pissed off the guards. They beat his ass a bunch of times. But it's like if he had broken out in the middle of the street at the end of the movie, and then some guy's like, "Hey, man, we looked up to you and you fucked
The
us."
system will eat you up. If
Yeah.
you don't stay on top of it and you can't rise above, you will be fucking destroyed. And that's essentially what happens to Arthur Fleck here. And the guy, after he stabs him, you see him in the background. He starts cutting his as
Laughing
in a
like
smile
Heath Ledger,
and
yeah.
laughing like he's the Joker. So we have like a new Joker now in
Yeah.
this world. It's fucking crazy. No after credit scene. But, okay, so we jumped to the end because that was the most shocking thing that we wanted to talk about. But we have to talk about Lady Gaga. Alex, so
She did good with what she, like we said, with what she had, but it didn't feel like she was Harley Quinn.
It's a
She was
giant
just
waste.
yeah.
In the same way, Arthur in no way, and I mean in no fucking way, is the Joker. This lady is in no way Harley Quinn.
Okay.
So these are the characters that may have inspired them that come like way later. Like they like slapped you in the face saying, "Hey, he's not the Joker.
Yeah.
That guy's more the Joker than this guy." This lady is not Harley Quinn.
So if the film pissed me off more, I would describe it like this. This is a bunch of theater kids that fucking think that they have a better idea of what the Joker and Harley could be if we fucking do Broadway shows and dance and interpret the dance. It'll be cool. Everybody will love it because we'll be singing and the show tunes and the dancing. It'll be great. And it wasn't great. It was fucking stupid and cringe.
Yeah.
So basically, Harley Quinn, we think initially that she's an inmate at a different prison or the women's ward or whatever. At some point, there's a singing class, and it helps them deal with their trauma. Well, one of the prison guards is constant. He's musical. He loves to whistle. He loves to sing. He thinks he's got a great voice, and he kind of weasels his way in there using Arthur to, so that he can kind of show off. But essentially, as they pass this hallway, this chick checks him out, and then she does the whole thing in the trailer where she idolizes him.
Yep.
Well, she tells him that, she's damaged just like him because her father did this to her and
Grew up in the same neighborhood and all that.
grew up in the same neighborhood. It's all a fucking lie. And the lawyer tries to tell her, like, look, here's how we do our defense. Two separate people. Joker did this, Arthur didn't. And her whole thing is there is no two people. You're Joker. Be Joker, and let's do this thing, and you'll just get off, and we'll make a mountain from a hill or something.
Yeah.
This criminal empire. So, well, it turns out that she is from money. She's rich. She goes home. She checks herself out.
She's pretty much a stalker.
She checked herself in. She's a stalker that says, and I think she does let crack her true personality when she's like, well, you've done something, I've done nothing. She's just after attention, fame, the allure of danger, which I think a lot of women can be susceptible to. If you think about all the amount of women that write serial killers letters and they have this fascination with them. So it does depict something that exists in real life and is interesting to explore.
And she is a therapist in this one as well.
And so that's fine, but I just don't want that for Harley. That's just not a Harley character to me. And it feels pointless when he reveals himself, no, there is no Joker. I'm just Arthur. She's really disappointed with him, gets up, walks out, and basically deserts him. She's like, this motherfucker is a two-pump chump. And, you know, because he does have sex with her. He literally is like, gives her maybe 4 pumps. I'm sorry, Arthur. And
now she's pregnant.
And now she says she's pregnant, but I don't fucking believe her. Yeah. I don't believe anything that she says. And I guess she was just going to put up with it because he's just famous or whatever. I don't know. But ultimately, she abandons him, and she sings a song. And by then, I was so checked out of the fucking songs, I wasn't listening to what song it was and what the lyrics were. It's like, I get it.
It's
Let's
a show.
Go.
It's like everything's entertainment. That's show business. It's just
okay,
like, look,
that's what she does.
Yeah, that she's. It's not. She was.
It's all fake.
It's all fake, and she was just doing it for like the thrill of it.
Yeah.
I mean, and so she was just having sex with a mentally challenged, low IQ man. Like, if you think Forrest Gump's hot as shit.
So she's as fucked in the head as, like, you know, it's a fucked up version of Harley, but not the fucked up version that I was looking for.
Yes, exactly.
Or or that, you know, is fascinating, or anything. So that's, like, I guess how we sum up Harley.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking quick and wasted.
I think that the first act actually was pretty interesting. He's in prison. He's got an interesting relationship with the guards. They view him almost like a mascot. They torment him for sure, but they also give him cigarettes when he tells them like they're bad jokes. And I think there was a lot of really cool things that we could have explored there.
Yeah.
Have him be institutionalized and have him like figure this stuff out. Explore the violence, the people who looked up to it, because he's been in prison for 2 years. This takes place 2 years later. So we could have done all sorts of really cool stuff with these people that did stuff idolizing, and then we just moved on to the courtroom, and all interesting parts of the thing just flew out the window.
Yeah, and listen, part of me does have a mass audience brain. And my mass audience brain was saying, I hope this ends, he breaks out, gets out, starts a criminal empire, moves on with her, or, you know, they do it together or whatever, and he gets revenge on the prison guards, maybe starts a riot, and gets out. And he's fucking Joker. He gets out, and he assumes the mantle because he has some kind of psychotic break, because that was some of the tension they were trying to build in the fucking courtroom, where they're really exposing how damaged he is, and he realizes how fucking damaged he is. You know, and then has to embrace this other personality to where Arthur Fleck dies and Joker lives and becomes Joker. But Arthur Fleck dies.
Yep. So
that's it.
Yeah.
and I guess the Joker lives on in a way, and you can be poetic and you can be artsy with it. That the idea of Joker is this person that is the embodiment of crime and crazy and psychosis, and now it's somebody else because Arthur couldn't live up to it.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting thought. And is it that I don't like the film, that it just doesn't end the way I want? No. You know, it's fair for you to say that. And I guess, to be honest with myself, a part of it is that. Because if you're not going to pay that off and you do it this other way and you're making a point and it's a moral point, you really have to do it very well. Audiences don't like it when, you know, you build up a character and then you just kill them off in an unsatisfying way.
Yeah, I think that I don't mind that he died, especially with the avenue that they took, that, you know, the Joker is going to live on in a different way. It was something that we talked about in the first movie review, where it's like, hey, this is something that absolutely could happen. I think it could work. It's just, I just don't think that they nailed it. It's just like so many things that they did in this movie where it's like there was musical scenes that I think that did do a good job. There were times where the character interactions were doing good, but it's just when you combine everything together, it just kind of was flat. It just dragged ass the entire time. And every now and then you get a little blip, but towards the end of the movie, I'd say at least the last half of the movie, I wasn't excited about a single thing that was happening on screen.
Can you pinpoint the turn where you got knocked out?
I think it may have been when they first started the court case. I think, and that was pretty early.
I like this court case. I like when he does his performance as Joker the first time in his head in the court case.
Yeah, I think that is more interesting than a lot of the things that were in there. It's just like the court case is really them just trying to say, Harvey Dent is trying to say this man deserves death. Everyone is saying it's not a matter of you're innocent or guilty because we watch you murder a guy on live TV. It just felt like a foregone conclusion, and they weren't doing anything to kind of spice it up. So I guess there is that one scene of the him doing crazy stuff in his head, but everything else is just I didn't find exciting.
Same.
Can you pinpoint it?
I would say probably the second day of the courtroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it started going down for me.
There was a little blips towards the end where he puts on makeup and it's real Joker trying to do the Joker thing in court, but he can't keep it up.
Foghorn.
Yeah, like everything else around
I liked that.
But everything else around is like, okay, yeah, that's cool, but everything else is like, I don't care about the rest of this plot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
It's got a message. He executed what he wanted to execute. I think a lot of people won't get it or reach deeper or just don't think it's executed very well. I'm among those. I see it, but hey, it didn't really work out, and that's fine because the film can be for some, and it could be other things for others. But this one, not for me.
No, not even a rewatch. This is like
not even a rewatch. No. Okay. So eventually, they're trying to decide: do we do death penalty? Do we prison forever? And then I'm like, okay. So the tension's not really. He's not going to walk out scot-free. But what you could do is you can win the case to the point where you don't get death, and then later on they can break him out or something. Is what I'm thinking in my head. And essentially that's what they do, but they break him out as soon as the verdict is read. He's guilty. He's guilty. They don't even get through reading all of the verdict because he starts laughing. The father of one of the people he slaughters is like, you son of a bitch, stop laughing. He goes after him. And when the judge breaks them up, that's when the courtroom explodes. Somebody put a car bomb. These two guys dressed like him are still idolizing. We still love you. And they get him in the car and they break him out. Don't really have a plan, but they're just doing it. They're like, oh, my God, this is fucking crazy. And he can't handle it. He gets out of the car eventually and runs and somehow ends up at the stairs. And that's where Harley is waiting.
Yeah.
Just there. And she basically says, fuck off. We're done because you're not Joker, the one that I'm interested in. And it devastates him. And so at that point, it's like, fuck, what's the point in living anyway? So he's just, and then that's when he gets, stabbed in prison. And, the cop sort of tips his hat to him. He knows what's coming. So you talk all that shit about me. They do beat him up in prison one time because he's like, these stupid idiot fucking prison guards. And the guys are like, okay.
What's up with them more having those
we'll
embroidered...
see you back here later on, fancy pants.
They always have those embroidered towels. It's like Arkham.
Oh, they have to remind you where it is because the first Joker was in no way related to Gotham at all.
You don't need the towels. You can just put it in your shirt.
No.
They're just walking around with towels
no,
the entire time.
You have to constantly remind people that it's Gotham.
That's odd.
Okay. And...
yeah, the guards kill another inmate at one period of time. They strangle this dude. Yeah,
his friend gets
strangled.
This guy that follows him around.
Yeah, and so
it's nice to him.
I was like, oh shit, now he's gonna do something. No, he's not. Okay.
Yeah. And he gets shanked.
Because he's Arthur Fleck, Joe. What do you expect him to do? He's not dangerous.
I mean, he snapped.
Unless you give him a gun.
He snapped once. You'd figure. I mean, maybe he could snap again. It doesn't take a lot of strength to push someone down some stairs or something.
Yeah.
Not the Joker.
But he didn't want to. He wanted to be Arthur. He didn't want to be the Joker.
Oh, well.
Oh, well. That's kind of the movie.
Yeah.
That's life.
Oh, well. That's what Harley says.
He's dead
to him.
now.
Oh,
I was like, okay. All right.
Any other aspects that I missed in spoilers?
Did
Let's
you
see.
like any of the musicals?
Yeah, any of the songs?
At first, I was like, yeah, some of the songs are all right, and I was like, all right. See, I was into it for the first act.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying, and then it started to wear thin on me, and then as Harley's doing her interpretive dance around the moon, that's where I started to be like, all right, I've hit my limit, because the interpretive
Enough
dance
is
came
enough.
in. And I was like, I'll allot you maybe like 1 or 2 more songs. But they went ahead with like 6 or 7.
I just wanted more dialogue. I mean, there was a lot of
Yeah.
times where it's like, this is important. We need to kind of flesh these things out.
Yeah,
and
this
they
is
start-
important. Please stop singing. That's
Yeah.
exactly what Arthur says to her.
He says at the very end, he's like, she said, hey, you're not Joker. I'm not in love with you. I was in love with this idea that you said you're not. And then she starts singing, and then he's like, he keeps putting his fingers in her mouth, and she keeps singing
Don't
through the
sing.
fingers. And
Just talk.
There's a lot of smoking in the film, man.
Yeah.
oh man, I want a cigarette.
I
I want a
Deep
cigarette
fucking
really
cigarette.
badly.
I'm like, man, this is really bad. The cigarette industry's like, yes, man, it's been forever since we've gotten some.
I'm surprised
free
he got that
promo like
whole
this.
song in her voice.
Her voicemail, yeah,
her
yeah.
voicemail. That thing would have cut off. He did the whole song.
Yeah.
He did a
It
whole
would
song.
like beep,
to come
damn
back
it, and
or
then call
whatever.
back and then repeat the rest. Like, you have 19 messages. Just play them all.
Yep. Yep. Okay.
That's what I was thinking because I was already bored.
Oh, and the final thing, I just remembered it, is I don't want this courtroom to become a circus. Meanwhile, he lets him represent himself. Not only does he let him represent himself, I mean, you have to because it's like it's your fucking rights. But he lets him wear clown makeup. Like that. This is my courtroom. You're not wearing clown makeup.
Not just. Then he starts speaking like he's Matlock.
And then
he,
Foghorn, not Matlock.
yeah, then he just invents. He's like a Foghorn Leghorn.
And he's making fun of it all, you
Yeah.
know. And the judge would hold him in contempt. It would.
You're thinking too much. He's like, Mr. Puddles? Is that your real name? Mr. Puddles? That's
Are
weird.
we?
It's like,
to
is this
believe
going anywhere?
that you're- And I'm like, what this? He's just playing a game. He's being the Joker,
Yeah.
I guess. And it's a shame because I did want him to, ultimately choose the Joker. But he chooses Arthur Fleck and then gets stabbed like a bitch and then falls, and that's it. And then that's the film. And that's the message. Ultimately,
Life is
at the end of the first film, it's like, wow, this guy got away with it, and he got praised for it. The second film is, no, you're going to fucking die like a bitch. You're going to live in the world, and if you can't fucking cut it, you're going to die. And you're going to get what you fucking deserve. And he got what he fucking deserved.
Yep.
Cool. Psychological thriller. Does hit some of those points.
I wasn't thrilled.
That's why I think it was half well, 5 out of 10. But all right, that's it, guys. Thank y'all so much for watching. Tell us what you think. Did it make you think? Did you hate it? Did you think it's, stupid and artsy-fartsy or whatever? Or did you really enjoy it? Please tell us why. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.